Hello everyone, I am Prajwal and today we are going to see this problem, Code Crazy Minions. This problem is rated as easy on CodeChef and you might require some basics of greedy algorithms to solve it. So guys, if you haven't read the problem yet, go back and read it, try it out and then come back and watch the solution. With this, let's begin. In this problem, we are given a programming language, Sprout. In this programming language, we are allowed to perform three operations. The first is load. Using this instruction, we can load any value inside a buffer. This value can range from 0 to 25, both inclusive. In the second operation, we are given increment. Using this instruction, we can increment the value of buffer by 1. Now this increment operation is actually circular, which means that if you add 25 and 1, then it will actually give you 0. It won't be equal to 26 as in general decimal. So basically we are doing a modulo 26 addition. In the third operation, we are given print statement. Using this instruction, we can print the value of the buffer using a character. For example, if we are given 0 in the buffer, then it will print A. If it is 1, it will print B, and so on till Z. Till 25, it will print Z. Now, Chef will use this programming language to print a word. To print this word, Chef will first load a value into the buffer only once from 0 to 25, and then will only use increment and print operations to print this word character by character. Our job is to find whether this program is simple or not. The program is considered to be simple if the number of instructions that are used are actually less than equal to 11 times the size of this word. We have to answer yes and no accordingly. In the constraints, we are given test cases from 1 to 100 and the length of this word can be from 1 to 1000. Moving on to the test cases. In the first test, we are given the word hello world. Now, to get the minimum number of instructions, we will first load H into our buffer. Now, we can use 23 increment instructions to go to E, and consecutively we will use 7, 0, 3, 8, 18, 3, 20 and 18 to get to all the required characters of hello world. So we require one load instruction. The increment instructions are 100, and since we have to print 10 characters, we will require 10 print statements. So the total number of instructions that we will use are 111. But the limit is 11 into the size, which is 10, equal to 110. Since the number of instructions are greater than limit, the program is not simple, hence we output no. So guys, try to do the same thing yourself for the second test case and see that the answer is yes. Moving on to the solution. In this problem, we are given a word of characters C1, C2 till Cn, and we want to print these using the Sprout programming language. So first of all, the thing to notice is that we have to print n characters. Hence, the number of print statements that we require are n, because in all the cases we have to print exactly n characters. Hence, print statement will contribute n to our answer. Now we are given that we can load any character into the buffer initially. So the load operation will contribute 1 to our answer. Now the best possible case is to load the number corresponding to the character C1, because if we do not do this, then we have to perform some increment to get to C1, which is not optimal. To get the minimum operations, let us load the number corresponding to the character C1. Now in the transition, we have to jump from C1 to C2 to C3 and so on until we arrive at C of n. We can do this transition using some increment operations. Now we know that we are always in the range 0 to 25. So in the worst case, we have to do 24 additions from C1 to C2. It can only happen if this character C2 is actually the previous character of C1 in the alphabetical order. So we can actually simulate this using a while loop. Now let us say that the cost is T1 for C1 to C2. Similarly, we have T2, T3 and so on. So the total contribution is summation T of I. At last, we can calculate the number of instructions used as n plus 1 plus summation Ti. To calculate the limit, we can just write as 11 into n, where n is the size of the input string. Now we can check whether number of instructions are greater than limit or not, and we will print the answer accordingly. Now the time complexity of this solution is order of n, because we only need to iterate the string once for each character, and for these transitions we will iterate at most 25. So the complexity is order of n. The space complexity is also order of n, where n is the input size. Basically we need a string to store all these characters, hence the space is order of n. Moving on to the code, I have already processed the input into this variable string s. N stores the size of this string. Now current character is a variable that will store the number corresponding to the first character. Total operations is initialized as 2. We need 2 operations in the beginning because one is to load the first character and other is to print the first character. Now we iterate from the second character till the end. Next character is another variable that will store the number corresponding to the current character. Now if the previous character, which was C1, is not equal to C of 2, which is the next character, then we increment our previous by 1 and we use modulo 26 addition. We increment total operations by 1 also. This basically implies the increment operation. We increment it until we get the number corresponding to the next character. Finally, when we break out of this while loop, we know that current character is equal to the next character. So we increment our total operations by 1. This signifies the print statement for the next character. Then we calculate the limit as 11 star n and we output according to this condition whether total operations are less than limit or not. So guys, this is pretty much the whole code. Try to code it yourself. If you face an issue, then come back and see it again. So guys, I hope you understood the problem well, and if you have any questions, drop a comment below and like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to get the latest updates from CodeChef. Thank you and goodbye.